Welcome back to the Cowboys fans. While we originally planned to bring you a detailed breakdown of minicamp updates, we've had to pivot today's video for a pretty important reason. The Dallas Cowboys are actively working out 5 players, and we felt this news deserved a deep dive. We'll also touch on the joint practice schedule update with the Los Angeles Rams that just dropped. But before we dive into the meat of today's show, a quick note for our loyal viewers: we are still trailing the 49ers report by about 2,500 likes in our monthly like battle. Let's fix that. Smash the like button if you're riding with the Cowboys and want to support the channel. Your likes fuel everything we do. Now, let's jump into the joint practice news. It's now official that the Dallas Cowboys will once again hold a joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams on August 5 in Oxnard. This practice tradition between the two teams has been ongoing for a while and is widely considered beneficial by both coaching staffs. Whether there will be just one joint session or 2 remains to be seen, but according to ESPN's Todd Archer, it's a go. These practices usually help coaches evaluate their players against outside competition, and they tend to get a little feisty too, which fans love. Now to the headline news: the Cowboys are working out 5 players, and we're going to break down each of them in depth. These names were first reported by Patrick Walker at Cowboys.com, and they include defensive tackles Perrion Winfrey and Devontae Levelston, cornerbacks Jerry Jacobs and Robert Rochelle, and veteran offensive tackle George Fant. Let's start with Perrion Winfrey. Once a 4th-round pick out of Oklahoma in the 2022 NFL Draft, Winfrey's NFL journey has been anything but smooth. He showed a lot of promise during his time at OU after transferring from junior college, and that potential got him drafted by the Cleveland Browns. However, off-the-field issues derailed his career. In 2023, he was released by the Browns after a misdemeanor assault charge stemming from a domestic incident with his girlfriend. Although the charges were eventually dropped through a pre-trial diversion program, the damage to his NFL standing had been done. Just months later, Winfrey was involved in another troubling situation, reportedly flashing a gun during a heated altercation. Again, no charges were filed, but NFL teams took notice, and not in a good way. After brief stints with the Browns and Jets that didn't amount to much, Winfrey resurfaced in the UFFL, where he suited up for the Birmingham Stallions in 2025. In limited action, he logged 33 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 4 pass breakups. On the field, he showed he can still play, but character concerns continue to hover around him. Importantly, he isn't your typical 330-pound nose tackle. He's more of a tweener like Neville Gallimore, was better suited for rotational 3-technique roles than for anchoring the middle. Then there's Devontae Levelston, another defensive tackle with UFFL roots. A local product out of SMU, he went undrafted, but landed on the Seattle Seahawks practice squad for the 2024 season. In 2025, he played with the Memphis Showboats and appeared in 5 games, recording 13 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. Scouts and evaluators who know SM, you well consider him a classic camp body, a guy you bring in to compete and potentially eat up preseason snaps. He's a solid run plugger, but nobody expects him to turn into the next Osa Odigizua. Still, teams need depth during camp, and Dallas is clearly testing the waters. Let's talk about cornerbacks now. First up is Jerry Jacobs, who actually has some legitimate NFL experience. Jacobs played college ball at Arkansas State and then Arkansas before going undrafted in 2021. He found a home with the Detroit Lions, where he played a meaningful role in multiple games and tallied 3 interceptions during the 2023 season. In total, he has 4 picks across his career. While he didn't see action in 2024 with the Rams, he's proven he can contribute when called upon. He falls into the veteran journeyman category, a guy who may not be a star, but could make the 53-man roster in case of injuries or if younger players underperform. Then there's Robert Rochelle, a name draft nerds might remember. A 4th-round pick in 2021 out of Central Arkansas, Rochelle was initially seen as a raw but athletic prospect. Unfortunately, his NFL journey has been more about bouncing from team to team than developing into a reliable starter. After starting with the Rams, he had stints with the Seahawks, Panthers, Packers, and Chiefs, though he didn't stick long with any of them. At this point, Rochelle is mostly viewed as a special teams contributor with some upside, but his chances of cracking a regular season roster are slim without a standout training camp. Now let's talk about the most recognizable name on this list, George Fant. A seasoned veteran offensive tackle, Fant began his college career as a basketball player at Western Kentucky before converting to football. He entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent and quickly made a name for himself with the Seattle Seahawks. Fant brings legitimate experience, having logged nearly 5,000 career snaps across both tackle positions. He spent time with the Jets, Texans, and more recently returned to the Seahawks in 2024. Despite his age, Fant remains a viable swing tackle option for a team like the Cowboys. What makes Fant particularly interesting for Dallas is his versatility. He's played more than 2,000 snaps at both left and right tackle. And with Dallas sporting a very young offensive line, featuring inexperienced players like Tyler Guyton, Josh Ball, and Asim Richards, Fant's experience could be invaluable. The Cowboys have discussed the need to add depth and leadership to that O-line group, and Fant fits that mold. Plus, there's a connection worth noting. Fant previously spent time in the same building as current Cowboys defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton and assistant coach Tanzel Smart when he was with the Jets. Those familiar faces could help smooth any transition. At the end of the day, how many of these players will actually get signed? It's tough to say. Realistically, Dallas might pick up 1 or 2, perhaps a defensive tackle and a cornerback to help get through camp. But don't expect any of these additions to be season-defining. Still, adding competition and shuffling the bottom of the roster is never a bad idea. It pushes young guys to work harder, and sometimes these late off-season additions surprise everyone. Let us know in the comments how many of these 5 players you think the Cowboys will actually sign 0, 1, or maybe even 2 or 3? Would you want to see George Fant added as insurance on the offensive line? Are you intrigued by Winfrey's talent despite the baggage? We want to hear your take. And before we wrap up, don't forget to support the channel by checking out our sponsor, Chubbies. Summer is here, and it's time to get your wardrobe in shape. Chubbies is running their biggest sale of the year, $45 shorts and swim trunks, plus up to 65% off select gear. Whether you're rocking the classic stretch shorts, the stylish performance polo, or their fan-favorite swim trunks, now's the time to upgrade. Use code CHATCH for 20% off at chubbyshorts.com/hat. Help the show, support the brand, and look good doing it. We're just 390 subscribers away from hitting 217,000 on the channel, so hit that subscribe button and help us reach the next big milestone. More Cowboys content is coming your way every week. Stay tuned, Cowboys Nation. Training camp is almost here, and things are just getting started.